Hey, welcome to my art channel, RevScarecrow Artcade. If you like what you see, subscribe, and if you really like what you see, you can go get actual prints or the originals from ColinMullen.com. ColinMullen.com. I said it a different way this time. So hey everybody, before we get into today's thing, let's talk about this painting a bit. I've been playing a lot of CSGO for some reason recently. I don't know, it's a comfort game for me, and I can't really explain why. It's gotten better in that everyone who is super toxic seems to have left. I rarely, if ever, get called slurs. It's actually a huge improvement over what it used to be. Does that make the game good? I don't know about that, but you know, I'm enjoying my time with it, and I think that's enough. This is a scene from, I believe it's CS Italy, with the apps. Kind of near mid doors. Anyway, there's this little mailbox, and I think it's cool looking, so I decided I'd paint it. I think it's a mailbox anyway. Anyway, let's talk about today's thing. So for today's thing, I wanted to talk about minimalism. A lot of people know it for what it is now, this sort of movement of, you know, bearing down to just the few things that you actually need. And there's some value in that, but let's talk about what it used to mean. Let's talk about the art movement from the 1950s. It was a reaction to abstract expressionism, which is mostly the stuff that people who are like, oh, I hate modern art, the kind of stuff they're referring to, stuff from like, I mean, minimalism took place in the 1950s, so anyone who's like, I hate modernism, like, or modern art, like, what are you talking about specifically? Anyway, that's a different argument entirely, and definitely a video that needs to happen. And the cool thing about minimalism was that it was what you see is what you get. You didn't have to have 1,000 years of art history knowledge. You didn't have to know all of these things. You didn't have to know the artist's backstory. You didn't have to know how often he likes drinking and anything about him. It was just like, here's a nice thing. I made this nice aesthetically pleasing cube. I've put it here on the floor for you. I've had it machine made in the design process that I wished. It's here in the gallery for you. I'm not going to name it something pretentious. It has all pretense stripped from it. You walk in, you see it, that's it. It exists insofar as you see it, and it is there, and you have an opinion of it based on what it looks like. It doesn't mean anything more than that, and we've just gotten down to what a basic interaction with art can be. And there's something really cool about that. I like the idea of that anyone can walk into a gallery and have an expert opinion on a thing. You don't have to know all of this backstory stuff. But here's where my problem with it starts. A majority of people don't know that. If you go into any art gallery, which really can't right now because of you know, the world being the way it is right now, you go into an art gallery and you see one of these and you assume that you're not getting it, that you're missing something, because it's just a cube there on the ground. It's nice looking, sure, it's like machine polished, but you could get something like that from IKEA. Like, nice cube, cool, but that doesn't mean anything to anyone. No one gets anything out of it because they expect there to be something more to it. And that's my first problem with it. And my second problem with it is kind of a weird one, because when doing the research to make sure that I got this right, I decided I'd look up a bunch of like videos on minimalism, and I realized that I just absolutely hate people who are minimalist. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm an incredibly frugal person. I don't throw things away. Behind this painting, the one that you're watching right now, you see all those pencils? Maybe, I think you can see them in this video, but anyway. I don't even know where I got half those pencils. I've had them forever. I don't buy new pencils, I just have them. And if I get to the point where all of the pencils don't work anymore, then I buy new pencils. And that's like once in a blue moon. I don't buy new clothes often. I don't really try and keep up with that kind of stuff. And these are things that are espoused by minimalists. But then also, I was watching this video just a little bit ago where this guy was like, I don't need things. You know, I don't play video games anymore, so I'm gonna get rid of my Xbox and just buy a Roku. And it's like, bro, what you're buying something because you want to have less things? What? Like, he's bragging about how little he needs things, and all of that. And it's like, dude, if you just want to use it for watching movies like you say, then just you've got an Xbox right there. You don't need to buy a Roku. You already got what you need. It's an Xbox. You can play DVDs on it. If you want to watch a movie, there you go. There it is. That's an entire movie system. You didn't have to buy anything else. It's so incredibly frustrating. What minimalism has come to be is something that's hyper elite, that you have to know the backstory of, that you have to enjoy this clean white on white aesthetic that I just find frustrating. People's lives aren't like that. And it speaks to a certain level of affluence that you can literally just have nothing and be fine. Aesthetically having nothing. It's not having nothing because you can't afford it or because you decide not to afford it. It's because you know that if something went down and you needed a pencil, you could just go out and buy a pencil. There have been times in my life where that hasn't been the case. And so I just keep things. I keep things way past their usefulness. My first car, I drove into the ground. Like, that thing barely ran after a while. The cover of it, the bumper was duct taped together. The license plate would fall off. It wouldn't shift gears. The only reason I had to get rid of it is because it would stall out in traffic to the point that I was worried that it was a safety risk, that it would not accelerate when you hit the accelerator. I don't get this, man. I really don't. Minimalism has become buying stuff to prove that you don't need to buy stuff. That you can't just have... Minimalism is an aesthetic in of itself, in that you can't have minimalism that is, I don't know, a Victorian era chair or something, mix in with your IKEA lamp. You know, some random 1970s furniture you've got because it's left over from your parents. You're not happy with that. It's got to all be aesthetically the same. It's all got to be clean and perfect and good. And that's it speaks to what it really is. It's people wanting to be able to have this nice, pretty aesthetic and show off the fact that they're superior to everyone else for having less because they have more. I hate art channels and stuff like that have this clean aesthetic in the background. I wonder how many of them actually work in that space. I cannot for the life of me expect to find a spot in this apartment that I could have as clean and as neat as all that. Maybe it's because I live a different life than them. Maybe I think even if I had more space, my area over here where I was doing art would still be an absolute mess. There's crap everywhere in this shot because that's how I work. That's how I function. I'm getting really tired of seeing these perfectly clean shots of this aesthetically beautiful area that someone's got set up for themselves so that way they do art. Like, is that really how you function? Or is that what gets Instagram likes? You know, with these nice little fairy lights and that kind of thing surrounding your work, with a nice little fern and a white vase on a white pedestal. Like, are you actually like that? Are people actually like that? I don't know. My life isn't well staged. It isn't like all that. Screw that. That isn't life. That isn't me. I hear the same people who are like, art is expression, will say that while they have a shot that is clean and as perfect and beautiful as all of that, and then they'll have just some photorealistic crap and clean palettes with cute lighting. I'm done with this. Maybe I've rambled too much, but my issues with minimalism are that we have gone away from anything that could have been cool about the original. And I'm not about neat looking cubes just sitting in the gallery. I'd prefer if that was manufactured by the artists themselves and not commissioned to be made for them. I've talked about this in the past, about the difference. I'm fine with the idea of that anyone can interpret it and understand it because it is what it is. But what I'm not fine with is what has happened to that movement, to that idea over the last, apparently, 70 years. Anyway, I've gone off track a little bit throughout this video, but I think there was a cohesive line of thought. I don't know, you let me know. But thank you for watching. And I also need to thank the people on Patreon who are making this happen for me, because without their support, I couldn't have a basket full of pencils that I keep nearby for the aesthetics. I assure you, it's just for the aesthetics of having pencils. Thank you to the following people on patreon.com/RevScarecrow. Thank you, Wapfu. Thank you, Top Houndor. Thank you, Tinokill. Thank you, Targo. Thank you, Spiral. Thank you, Spencer Kane. Thank you, Ryu. Thank you, Punkster. Thank you, Phoenixia Theoran. Thank you, Orthogonal Caster. Thank you, Mortibus. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Maliciousness. Thank you, Lost Nevada. Thank you, Kayla Hollinger. Thank you, Katana Squirrel. Thank you, Holchin. Thank you, Geizazan. Thank you, Duxu. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you, Chiptune Glitch. Thank you, Cappy Rose. Thank you, Bubba Fair. Thank you, Bep. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Amber. And thank you, Ants. Thought I'd try something different that time. Also, it's like really early in the morning here, and I think my neighbors are probably getting tired of every other week just me shouting first thing in the morning, being like, why? Why is my neighbor like this? Anyway, if you liked the video, subscribe, like, comment, tell me how much I'm dumb for disliking minimalism and how I'm actually secretly a minimalist for not wanting to throw things away or whatever. Anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.